With the 2013-14 legislative session coming quickly to a close, it's time for MASSP to start looking toward what we want to accomplish during the next legislative session. Over the last 2 years, we've positioned ourselves to be successful on several issues. We spearheaded a coalition to keep the Common Core state standards in Michigan. We made significant progress on getting the recommendations of the Council on Educator Effectiveness passed into law, and we're well positioned to have that work completed by the end of 2014. Finally, we prompted a debate about Michigan's future assessment plans, and we drew public and legislative attention to issues like testing time and student motivation, which are important to principals, but which had not previously been part of the debate. And though not all of our priorities have been completely resolved, and we need to continue our work on the outstanding issues, we need to start now to lay the groundwork for our next steps. MASSP has identified 3 key issues which we believe are ripe for progress in the coming 2 years, and we need your help to flesh them out. Those key issues are establishing a statewide student data system, providing additional support and funding to schools for professional development, and helping remove obstacles that students and schools face to earning post-secondary credit during high school. For our first priority, student data systems, this builds on our work to establish new educator evaluation laws. Also, regardless of what assessment Michigan chooses to replace the MEP, this discussion informs the reporting that those tests need to be able to provide. So what we need to know from you: what does a student data system need to be able to do in order to be useful to principals? What pieces need to be able to be integrated? It's not just assessment data, it might also need to be student grades or attendance or response to intervention. What all needs to be in there in order for it to be useful? And then, at the same token, what sort of information do you need to be able to get back out of the system? Do you need to be able to break down your assessment results by teacher or grade? Do you need to be able to evaluate the quality of your response to intervention by looking at its impact on student grades? You get the idea. Finally, what do you have access to already, and how does that compare to what you need out of this new system? On the subject of professional development, this also builds on our work on educator evaluations. And assuming that these new laws on educator eval pass, and we're now much better at identifying opportunities for growth, we face a big potential gap in the quality and quantity of the professional development that's available right now in schools. So where you can help us on this one is, what support do you most need when it comes to professional development? Is it a lack of funding, or maybe better, a lack of time? Or do you have issues with your teacher motivation and attendance at your district-provided professional development? What can we do that's most useful for you? And then, setting aside financial support, what types of changes might be most helpful? This is where you can get creative and where I've heard some great ideas, like more professional development days during the school year, or mandatory teacher attendance. What sorts of policy changes, short of more money, are going to be the most helpful to you? And finally, what types of accountability are you willing to accept in exchange for that support? If the legislature is going to provide more funding, or if they're going to mandate that teachers attend district professional development, they're going to want some way of measuring whether or not that's an effective step. And so that could mean more reporting requirements, but it could also mean simply that you are required to make sure that your district-provided professional development is aligned to your teachers' professional development needs. What sorts of accountability are you willing to support in order for more support and professional development to come your way? Finally, post-secondary opportunities at the high school level. I hear frequently that the focus of the governor and the legislature on post-secondary opportunities in high school is great, but it's not going to do much unless. And it's that unless where we need your focus. We can guess at some of the obstacles you face, but they vary depending on your students and your region. And so what we need to know from you is, what types of post-secondary opportunities work best for your students, and why? Is it AP or IB? What works best in your district? And then, building on that, what are the primary obstacles you face to offering post-secondary credit at the secondary level? Is it a lack of funding, or the cost of credits for dual enrollment, or that you offer these things already, but that colleges won't accept the credit that you provide at the high school level? And then finally, be creative. What could we do to resolve these problems? Is it targeted funding for more AP and IB classes, or maybe a cap on dual enrollment credit costs, Or do we just need to mandate that all of the colleges and universities in the state accept credit earned during high school? So in preparation for the meeting, think about the questions that are being posed here. We're going to divide the board into 3 groups to work on this, one for each priority. So if you have a strong preference, let us know which topic motivates you most, and come prepared to share and discuss your thoughts so that we can have a productive board meeting.